Title: Just Let Us In. You ever have a moment when something completely mundane suddenly tilts sideways and nothing's ever the same after? That's what happened to me. I'm a high school history teacher, 39, and if you asked most people in town, they'd call me boring but harmless. I grade papers on Friday nights, same coffee mug in hand, same jazz instrumentals playing in the background. That Friday night started no different. I had Beethoven's Seventh playing low, my red pen dancing between paragraphs about the Cold War blame game, and the dogs next door were unusually quiet. Peaceful, for once. Then came the knocking. Not at the front door, which would at least make a kind of sense. No, it came at the side entrance. 3 slow, measured knocks. I checked the time. 12:17 a.m. Now, I live in a cul-de-sac on the edge of town. We don't get door-to-door sales, let alone visits in the middle of the night. I figured maybe someone was drunk, wandered up the wrong driveway. Weird, sure, but I wasn't worried, just curious. Another 3 knocks. I stood slowly, the wood floor creaking under me. I walked to the side door, flipped on the porch light, and peeked through the peephole. There was a little girl standing on my porch. She couldn't have been more than 10. Brown hair in straight, limp strands. A plain gray hoodie. She was looking down, arms hanging at her sides, almost like she didn't have the strength to lift them. "Excuse me?" I called through the door. "Are you okay?" She didn't answer right away. Then, in this soft, monotone voice, she said, "Please, I need help. Can I come in?" Something in me pulled back. Not out of cruelty, just that voice. It wasn't panic or fear. It felt rehearsed, like a script poorly delivered. "It's late," I said, my fingers tightening on the edge of the door. "Where are your parents?" She didn't look up. "I just need to come in, sir." "It's after midnight," I said. "Are you hurt? You should wait there. I'll call someone." "Please, just let me in." Always the same tone. No urgency, no emotion. The porch light flickered. My mouth went dry. I unlatched the lock and opened the door a little, just wide enough to get a better view of her, then leaned forward slightly and said, "Look at me, miss. What's your name? Can you look up?" She hesitated, and then she began to raise her head. My body reacted before my mind finished processing. Her eyes, if you can call them that, were black. No white, no iris, just orbs of shining ink, as if her pupils had swallowed everything else. I staggered back from the door without meaning to. My skin went cold, like every window in the house had just blown open. And then she stepped forward. Not onto the doormat, not inside, but right to the edge of the threshold. And I realized she was waiting, not trying to force the door fully open, not pleading, just waiting for me to do something. Let her in. My eyes were still locked on her when knock, knock, knock. From behind me this time, the back door. I turned so fast I nearly tripped. I live alone. I should have felt alone. There are small glass panes in my back door, and behind them stood a second kid. A boy, maybe 9, same gray hoodie. He was just watching me through the glass. Eyes the same, solid voids. And then, in that same soft, monotone voice, he said, "Just let us in, sir." I turned back toward the girl, but the girl was gone. Not walked away. Gone. I slammed the front door shut, shot the bolt, and sprinted to the back door. But when I looked through the window on the door, the boy was also gone. I flicked off the lights. Maybe instinct, maybe some long-forgotten defense mechanism. Only moonlight now. I crept to a small hallway window that looked out onto the backyard and squinted. No one. Then knock, knock, knock. This time on the living room window. Then silence. Then knock, knock, knock on the opposite side of the house like they were walking the perimeter. And then came the giggling. Quiet at first. Childlike. Innocent, almost. But it started to get sharper, feral, like someone pretending to be a child. I backed into the hallway, clutching my phone, but it wouldn't turn on. Just a black screen, unresponsive. Landline. Dead. Router. Blinking like a heartbeat. Then, gone. Knock, knock, knock. Just let us in, please, sir. We promise we'll be good. Every time I looked through a window, they weren't there. Until I wasn't looking. After a while, I stopped trying. I pulled a chair to the center of the house, somewhere without windows. Sat down with a baseball bat. That was all I could do, just wait. The giggling would drift closer, then farther away, like they were circling. Knock, 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 giggle, knock. We saw your light, sir. Let us in. We're lost. You said you'd help. I don't remember how long they stayed. Whether it was minutes or hours, I genuinely couldn't tell you. Time dissolved into terror. I sat there in the dark with the intermittent knocking and giggling as the shadows seemed to close in around me. The more they giggled, the more the shadows seemed to stretch toward me, but by that stage, I couldn't tell you what was real and what wasn't. At one point, I think I passed out. I came to with sunlight bleeding through the blinds, birds chirping like nothing had happened. I walked the perimeter of my house like something out of a waking nightmare. Not a sign of them. No footprints. No scuff marks. But on the glass, every window, tiny handprints, barely visible, oily, child-sized, like someone had pressed their hands there and just waited. That was 2 months ago. Haven't slept a full night since. Nothing's happened since, well, not exactly. Not like that. But I leave the lights on now. I stopped looking out of my curtains. Sometimes I find the front doormat shifted a few inches in the morning. Once, I came home and all the clocks in the house had stopped at 12:17 a.m. And at least once every few weeks or so, just when I'm starting to forget, I swear I hear it. And then, in that same monotone voice, just let us in, sir.